It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the films of January 24th, 1997. We got 5 movies to look at today, so let's go ahead and jump on into it. And we'll start off with the biggest new release of the weekend, well, biggest in quotation marks, the spiritual successor to A Fish Called Wanda, featuring many of the stars of the film, that is Fierce Creatures. So there's a lot of problems with this film. First off, it claims to be a spiritual successor to A Fish Called Wanda, even though John Cleese is playing the twin brother of his character from A Fish Called Wanda. So it's kind of a spin-off or a sequel, kind of, but at the same time, though, it's not directed by the same guy that did A Fish Called Wanda. It's not directed by Charles Crichton. Um, a lot of this movie really does not have anything really to do with A Fish Called Wanda, but they use that in all of the marketing of the film. And to me, this is a film that really does not work because they're trying to stick to they sold it by sticking to the past instead of actually doing something that could be something really good and really different from what A Fish Called Wanda was. This was something that was written in 1992 by John Cleese. Didn't start filming until 1995. It was completed in August of that year. They previewed it in November, and they did not. The audiences who saw the film, preview audiences, they did not like the ending, so they had to reshoot the ending and other scenes in the film. But they couldn't do that because people got involved in other projects. Michael Palin was working on a show. I think it was a show called Full Circle. Cleese and Johnstone had to write a new ending with William Goldman. The director of the film, Robert Young, was too busy working on another project, so they had to hire Fred Gillespie, who was working on another film, and added $7 more million to the budget to reshoot those scenes. And he tried to get the producers to take out the first 15 minutes of the film, which was done for a test screening, but then some of the footage was put back in while he thought that was the thing that killed the movie. And when you look at this movie, you can kind of see where it went wrong. Like, you could see where it could work, but at the same time, it looks like it's not even trying to follow on the same level of something like what A Fish Called Wanda was. A Fish Called Wanda is a brilliantly funny comedy that works because it's an R-rated, in-your-face comedy with so many silly, over-the-top moments in it. But in this movie, there's ideas that sound like they could be promising, but they're also trying to stick with a PG-13 rating. This is PG-13. This is a much different film compared to A Fish Called Wanda, and to me, this doesn't work because the comedy isn't that strong, the writing isn't all that good, the story is not that well written, it's not an interesting story whatsoever. You don't get to see the true potential of the storyline. And as much as you've got most of the people back from A Fish Called Wanda in terms of the cast, they just really aren't given a whole lot to do here. I mean, there's not really a whole lot there that's very funny or creative there, and it was a disappointment when I saw this movie. Finally saw this movie years ago. After how much I loved A Fish Called Wanda, I went in there with higher expectations, and this film really did not deliver on it. This feels like a film that was made specifically for a studio. Like, it feels like a studio-driven film, and if you have to rewrite the ending of a movie and change the opening of it because it didn't fare well with people involved in it, maybe you need to rewrite the whole thing so you can actually get something good out of it. But yeah, bottom line, the movie really didn't work. It was one of those big disappointments I remember seeing. I mean, like I said, A Fish Called Wanda is a comic masterpiece, but this just feels like they're trying to just stick to come back to the old times, and you can't really do that with a story like this. It's not really that creative. It's not really that strong. The comedy just isn't there. There's so much good talent in this movie, and it just doesn't work as a whole. It's one of the biggest letdowns I've ever had with a movie. I was really looking forward to seeing if this was going to be any good or not, and sadly, this wasn't good enough. So that's Fierce Creatures. So let's go ahead and take a look at our next movie, and that is Zeus and Roxanne. So yeah, this is a movie that doesn't make any sense either. So the whole purpose of the story is that you've got these two feuding people. You got this guy who's an aspiring musician, and you have this woman who's a marine biologist, and they really do not get along during the course of the film. And apparently, this relationship between Steve Gutenberg's dog and this dolphin that Kathleen Quinlan's taking care of, their friendship is supposed to be a thing that gets these people together. And there's the whole thing in the middle, towards the end of the movie, where the kids of Kathleen Quinlan's character is just like, if a dog and a dolphin can get along, then why can't he and his why can't his father and our mother do the same thing? And it's just like, is that really what we're supposed to take from this? Like, this is a really lousy movie, man. This is a film that just, like, the whole purpose of it makes no sense whatsoever. The message it's trying to have makes no sense whatsoever. It's got stock characters. None of them are well written whatsoever. Bottom line, it's just a movie that's just not entertaining whatsoever. I mean, it's a movie you look at and you're only going to see it because you see the dog and you see the dolphin. If you're the animal lover, then I guess there's nothing else that could deter you from going to this film. But I certainly didn't like it. So yeah, that's Susan Roxanne. So let's go ahead and take a look at our next film, which is Prefontaine. A couple of notable things I never noticed about this movie until now. One, it's done by the same guy that did Hoop Dreams, and if you've been following my stuff over the years, you know that Hoop Dreams is one of my all-time favorite movies. Not only that, but you see Ed O'Neill in there, you see R. Lee Ermey, Breckin Meyer, Kurtwood Smith's also in here, but Jared Leto makes his film debut in this, playing Steve Prefontaine, and yeah, that kind of makes me want to see this movie. I mean, all that talent there, a story that apparently is so good they've actually made more than one movie about this guy. The other one is a film called Without Limits, which actually comes out the following year, and that's directed by Robert Towne. As far as the movie itself goes, I haven't seen it, but judging by that cast and the fact that it's directed by the director of one of my favorite movies of all time, kind of makes me want to see it. It kind of looks like it could be a very interesting story, but as far as everything else goes, there's nothing really I can say about it because I haven't seen it, so I can't really comment on it too much, but it's definitely got my interest just for the fact that it has all those people involved in it alone, so maybe one day I'll definitely check it out. But as for now, let's go ahead and move on to our next movie, which is Corey. Okay, so this one is very confusing on Box Office Mojo because when I looked for this movie on there, it was called Koyla, Koyla. There's another movie that came out in 1997 with that title that is completely different from what I'm about to talk about here. The one that's listed on here is a 1997 Indian Hindu language action thriller that looks like a Bollywood movie. Kind of not even a Bollywood movie. It looks like it's a movie from another country, but this one is from another country. But this is, I think, the right movie. It's so weird. If I go on the Box Office Mojo's page, let me just show you right here. Yeah, right there is Koyla. But if I click that, that's what comes up. And that looks completely different from the movie that I'm about to talk about, even though it has the same production company behind it, Miramax Films. So this film here is basically the story of a bachelor who basically gets the surprise of his life with a get-rich-quick scheme backfires and leaves him with a new roommate, apparently the son of the woman he had an affair with. And apparently this was a big success. It won the Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film and the Golden Globe for Foreign Language Film in 96, or 97, I should say. But I really don't know anything else about this movie. I just thought that was really interesting when I looked this up, and another movie with with basically the same title, except the letters L and Y are reversed, came up on there. So yeah, that's very odd one, I should say the least. I haven't seen this one, either one of them, so I can't really say if either one of them is good or not. But that was very interesting when I found that. So let's go ahead and take a look at the last movie, and that is Reggie White, NFL star Reggie White, starring in a movie called Reggie's Prayer. Yeah, this is a weird movie. This literally came out, I think, the same weekend he was playing in the Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers. For one thing, I never knew Reggie White actually starred in the movie, but he basically is playing himself, kind of, with a different last name. He retires after the season to become a 10th grade history teacher and the head coach of a high school football team in Portland, Oregon. You see cameos from Brett Favre and Mike Holmgren. Keith Jackson's also in here. MC Hammer also has a cameo too, which this is a weird looking movie, man. I've never seen it before, but I kind of want to see it now because this sounds completely ridiculous and looks ridiculous just from the trailer alone. I mean, the little bit I showed you there, like I don't know what the heck's going on in this movie, but I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to see it, maybe for potential bad movie, for a so bad it's good type of experience, but yeah, That is a weird movie that he's in. I mean, who knows? It could actually be good, but considering that Wikipedia literally has nothing on it, and just you have to go to Reggie White's page on there to see what this is about, probably not a good sign. So maybe if I can find it someday, maybe I might check it out just to see if it's as ridiculous as it looks. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe it's actually something special, but I sincerely doubt it. So on that note, that wraps up another edition of Time About the Movies. Next time we meet, we'll start off with we'll wrap up January, I should say, and we'll have, first off, the re-release of Star Wars A New Hope as part of the re-release that inspired George Lucas to make a prequel trilogy that would come a couple years later. We also have Gridlocked, Rodney Dangerfield and Meet Wally Sparks, Shadow Conspiracy, Johns, Waiting for Guffman, and Prisoner of the Mountain. So 7 movies to look at next time around, and we'll delve into those on the next episode. But until then, thank you very much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the playlist on the next page, check out the previous episode, and I will see you guys tomorrow for another episode. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time, and until then, as always, take care.